Fleming's a dangerous guy. I'm going to admit it. I mean, the dude is about as thick as a brick wall here, and he's got magnificent tendon strength. He's a great on-the-mat wrestler, but Cusick could match power with him, I think.
And see, Fleming, they're looking for a handshake, but he's not going to get that from Cusick, that's for sure. And it's like you said, I mean, the size of Fleming alone, I mean, comparatively to Cusick, and Cusick is a big guy. He's no slouch, but it appears that Fleming's even thicker than Cusick is.
And that says something because Cusick is a very muscle-bound guy. I mean, Mark Fleming owns his own gym in the Norfolk, Virginia area.
That's right, yes. Portsmouth, I believe, exactly, more specifically.
Same difference.
They're not the same difference. As now, you see both men, Cusick, very hesitant to lock up with Mark Fleming.
I would be too, to be honest with you, just because I've seen what Fleming can do.
Well, yeah, I give Cusick credit for getting in the ring with Mark Fleming, to be honest with you.
No, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either. But I'm a broadcaster. I'm not a wrestler. Now, wait, did Cusick just do what I think he did?
What, get hit in the eye?
No, he's complaining about getting hit in the eye, but I think that Cusick is, well, for lack of a better word, faking that injury.
What are you trying to say? That Cusick would intentionally do something like that in the ring with a...
Yes. In fact, he has done it before. Look at Mark Fleming now with locking on a side headlock.
That's not a position you want to be in there against Mark Fleming.
Oh, certainly not. Oh, good. Look at that. Look, torquing at the neck. Look at that.
You still want to know if a headlock hurts, Jerry?
Not from Mark Fleming. That's for sure. Oh, look at that now. Oh, raking right across. That can't feel good. Now switching over into a hammerlock. Schoolboy. Cover only gets a 1 count, though. Cusick kicks out.
And Cusick needed to get away and break that momentum there because for Cusick, he really can't match, wrestling skill with Mark Fleming. He's going to have to go to hard strikes and possibly hope to knock Fleming out.
Well, that's for certain. I mean, not to discount the wrestling abilities of Cusick, because last month, as I was saying at the start of this matchup, he proved it against Sean Denny, his great wrestling abilities. But
stylistically, it's not going to work against Mark Fleming.
No, it's not. It's not, especially with the and Cusick had a size advantage over Denny, and that really came into play with his counter that allowed him to get the victory last month.
Yeah,
but he does not have such a leisurely advantage here against Mark Fleming.
Well, not only that, but Fleming has a lot more power in his abilities, shall I say? Sean Denny is a great mat wrestler, but he's a different mat wrestler from Fleming, whereas Fleming will take you down and just grind you into the mat. Denny's one of those guys that if he snares you, he knows exactly where to go, and he's quicker in doing so. Fleming just prefers to grind you out.
Right, as we can see now with this side headlock.
So while they're both great mat wrestlers, Fleming is much different from Denny.
Exactly.
So I don't really think we can compare last month's match to this one.
No, I agree, but at the same time, you need to. Well, Cusick is involved in both. That's the comparison that I'm trying to draw here. But you're right. Cusick is going to have to wrestle a totally different type of matchup against Mark Fleming than he did against Denny, simply because of Fleming's experience. Most notably, I think is going to play a major factor in this match.
See, I don't know if Fleming's experience is basically the same thing as Sean Denny's martial arts expertise. So I think, like I mentioned, it's a very stylistically different match, and Cusick's going to need to come in with a much different game plan.
Well, thus far, it's been all Mark Fleming in this matchup, as he has taken control with his wrestling scientific nature. As you saw, grinding that headlock earlier, working the headlock, and then both men got into the ropes a minute ago, which caused the break, and now they're both at a standing position again. We'll see if Cusick can do something different here. Oh, no, there you go. Locking up with Fleming again. Fleming taking him over with an arm drag.
Cusick needs to stay out of this close clinch with Fleming because it's just not presenting him with any opportunities. He needs to use that height and reach advantage and start dishing out some bombs or something.
Yeah,
because grappling with Mark Fleming is a mistake.
That's for certain. That's been proven to be the case several times thus far in this matchup. Now Fleming with an arm ringer, locking him into some variation of an arm lock. Do you have a name for that one?
It's almost like a key lock, except it's not positioned underneath Cusick's back, and now it's gone just straight into a head scissor.
Yeah, you see head scissor on.
So I guess it would be a key lock takeover, and now he's got a head scissor going there.
So trying to maybe trying to choke Cusick out in that position. Look at that. Look at the positioning there of Fleming. Smart, leveraging Cusick's neck up in the air. could break the man's neck from that position. If Cusick's neck weren't as thick and muscular as it were, there would definitely be a chance of that. He could certainly break my neck if they were in that position.
But not mine. I've got a thicker neck than you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for pointing that out to everybody. Is now Fleming once again now elevating. You see like I said before, the elevation of the head like that, compiled with the pressure of the legs around the neck. Can't feel good.
And why Cusick just doesn't go for the ropes there and get the easy break on this is beyond me. I mean, look, his foot's right there.
Yeah, well, maybe he's trying to prove a point. Maybe he's trying to escape this maneuver. There he goes. He was able to get out, but Fleming takes him over, hooks him over, and now he's got him in an arm lock.
Yeah, if I was in Cusick's position, I'd go for the ropes, force a break, and then go back to a stand-up. I mean, this positioning is not good for Cusick.
Well, I will tell you that I did speak to Cusick before this matchup, and he did tell me that he was looking to try to out-wrestle Mark Fleming and prove a point to Mark Fleming.
I think he's giving Mark Fleming too much respect here.
Well, I mean, you would think that. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he like I said, he told me before this matchup that he was planning on going out here, out-wrestling Mark Fleming and proving a point that he is a great wrestler. And I think that match last month is what has inspired him to do so.
And I like Cusick, but that's a mistake. And
I agree. I agree.
I fully think that's a mistake. And now there you see he's changing up the game plan a little and firing away with punches. And he needs to maintain that reach advantage. He can't go close with Mark Fleming.
You see Fleming firing back. Now Cusick with a kick right to the gut, firing away. This might be a smarter strategy for Cusick now as he's striking. Bouncing off the ropes. Cusick with a splash in the corner. And see now Fleming down to the canvas. Now see this, using his weight in short bursts like that for strikes, as you were saying earlier, is going to work to his advantage. And chokeholds are certainly going to work to his advantage as Cusick now resorting to whatever tactics he can do to get an advantage over Mark Fleming.
And this is where those stylistic differences between last month's match and this match come into play.
That's for certain. That's for certain. As now Cusick lifting Fleming back up. Fleming trying to fire back, but Cusick getting the advantage once again, whipping him into the ropes, and now a bear hug by Cusick, and that's certainly going to take its effect on Mark Fleming.
It will take its effect, but not as much as really you would think, because Fleming has such a thick musculature in his body that getting to his ribs may not, and his lungs is actually going to be a little bit harder. This is kind of an ill-advised move in that it'll dish out pain, but it won't do really what you want it to do.
Right. Well, I believe that Cusick had also scouted, though, the back of Mark Fleming. I believe that is believed to be by Cusick a weak point, or at least an injury-prone point of Mark Fleming that he's looking to expose in this matchup. So perhaps that's why he's going to the lower back.
It's possible, but really the bear hug is primarily used to squeeze breath out. If he was going to attack the lower back, I could think of better ways to do so, to be honest with you.
Well, he has been. Mark Fleming has gotten the better of Cusick for the majority of this matchup. That's for certain. And perhaps now Cusick's trying to do whatever he can just to slow down the pace.
I agree in a circumstance here. It's just I don't really think this would probably be the best way, because number one, it's that close clinch position that I've warned about in the past. You cannot get into a close clinch with Mark Fleming.
That's true. That's true. As now you see, though, it is taking its toll thus far on Fleming. That's for whatever we say, it is having an effect on Fleming. That's for certain. As you can see,
I'm not saying it's not having an effect. I'm just saying this isn't what I would be doing.
Oh, Fleming with a rabbit clap right there broke the hold, and Cusick almost fell down. Unfortunately, he fell into the ropes. Unfortunately for him, he fell into the ropes to hold him up. But Fleming is, you see, holding that back. It did do some damage, and it has slowed Fleming down. And it's just as that strike has disoriented Cusick for the time being.
But Cusick's a very, very tough man. He's going to fight back on this, as you can see there.
Yeah, there you saw a kick to the midsection of
and
Fleming.
That brought Fleming down.
It certainly did. Well, maybe he did take more breath out than we expected. Yeah, and now choking away. Well, you're right. There you go. Going out trying to stop Fleming from being able to breathe, and if he can cause some damage there.
That's probably wrong. That bear hug actually probably did do more than we thought it was doing. I have to admit, that was actually pretty smart there by Cusick.
Smart. Well, like you said, it caused him to gasp for air, and hurt him in that respect, and then also has done some damage to the back. And now Cusick.
And this is what's going to do damage to the back of Mark Fleming right here.
Body slam by Cusick. Look at the strength to scoop up a man the size of Fleming.
And you notice there wasn't a lot of authority behind that kick out. That's what's going to injure the back more than, a bear hug. A good body slam, especially from someone of Cusick's height with all that, force he can put behind a slam like that.
That's for certain. Wait, he must have heard you, as now he scoops up Fleming a second time now.
See?
Slams him once again to the canvas.
Because Cusick appreciates good advice.
Cover, 2. And like we were saying earlier, Fleming would have preferred to keep this match on the ground, keep it mat-based. But once you get into these high-impact striking maneuvers, especially like you said from the height of Cusick, that's where Cusick's really going to shine, and that's where he's going to be able to take an advantage as he sends Fleming now to the outside.
And you notice Fleming's back struck against that apron too.
But I don't know how smart it was for him to throw Fleming to the outside, because now Cusick's going after him, but for a moment Fleming had a minute to try to catch his breath on the floor.
But if Fleming's back is as injured as we seem to think it is based on how he's reacting here, then if Fleming could get counted out because he can't return to the ring because of the status of his back.
That's a good point. Is now Cusick firing away?
Look, when you're in there with a guy like Mark Fleming, you win however you can.
Well, obviously, and now Cusick raking at the eyes. I think he's abandoned the idea of trying to out-wrestle Mark Fleming. He realized that was not a smart idea.
See, it's a sense of foolish pride at this, at Cusick's point. Now, I have to admit, if I had just beaten Sean Denny by out-wrestling him, I would probably employ the same strategy. It's just, sitting here, I can make judgments that, most guys wouldn't normally make.
Right. Oh, obviously. Well, you are a retired competitor as well, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if I've made my share of mistakes out there too, so.
I haven't. I've never wrestled before.
Yeah.
As now both men firing away on the outside, Fleming trying to battle back, but Cusick cuts him off.
Forearm right into the lower back there, and once again, Cusick, if he rolls back into the ring, I think Fleming will get counted out.
There's a good possibility for that. I mean, like I told you earlier, Cusick had scouted the back, and I believe he had found out some information involving Fleming's history with back problems, and has made that a focal point, and it certainly has taken its effect so far in this matchup.
And then you see Fleming slow to get to his feet. I think Cusick needs like one good move, like a power bomb or something like that, and I think he'll beat him.
Yeah, it would take quite a deal for Cusick to be, especially this late stage in the match, to be able to powerbomb Fleming. But you're right. I mean, a maneuver like that, of that caliber, could possibly put Fleming away. As now Cusick, once again, going for the body slam, going with what's worked so far, and now dropping the elbow right across the neck of Fleming. Covered by Cusick, 2. Oh, but Fleming able to kick out.
And once again, not a lot of authority behind that kick out.
There was some authority behind that leg drop, though. That's going to take its toll.
Fleming looks dazed.
Another cover by Cusick, but only a 2 count. Fleming kicks out again. And now Cusick pulling Fleming back up by the neck. Looks like he's going to go once again for another body slam. Wait a minute, Fleming slips out. Schoolboy by Fleming. 2. At 3, Fleming got the pin. Wait a minute. Mark Fleming countered that body slam, and Mark Fleming has gotten the pin. He out-wrestled Cusick.
I'm going to dispute that finish, actually.
Why is that?
Because Cusick was near the plane of the ropes. I think he may have actually been under it. I couldn't really see from...
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead and make excuses.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying. Cusick could have been underneath the plane of the ropes. That's why I'm going to say I'm going to dispute that one.
No, I'm sure you're going to dispute it. Now, Cusick chasing the referee. I think Cusick's disputing it as well. Chasing the referee out of the ring.
I think he's got the right to dispute this one.
Now you see Fleming. Fleming was victorious. He did, as we said earlier, when it got down to be a wrestling counter, Mark Fleming defeated Cusick